there from the team where a person would get hacked but would not get burst down quite quickly, or the hack who are coming into, like, usually we're seeing Gong trying to hack Merlin, but you have to understand Merlin is a very tanky person where he's playing Reinhardt. It's really
Yeah.
hard to burn him down. You might want to focus more of the support players, where if you just literally hack Amora, she has nothing to do. She cannot, dash away or anything like that. So I think hacking smaller and more efficient targets that you could kill efficiently would be a game changing here for Hyperflex.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, and the thing about hacking tanks like Reinhardt and Diva is you do it so that your team can engage onto them. You can't be solo killing these tanks once you hack them in the front line. It's kind of, and that looked like the problem there for Hyperflex, where they just weren't taking advantage of the hacks. I do legitimately think it was a compositional error, because it's not like Gong wasn't hitting these hacks at good
Exactly.
times. It's more like the team wasn't pushing in response to the hacks, and maybe even putting a little bit more pressure on the Reaper from RQT here, switching to something like a Diva potentially could have been good. But I don't know. Monarchs comp was very weak to a Sombra, and they just didn't, Hyperflexers didn't manage to get the hacks where they needed, and definitely follow up on the EMPs, which were great every time. The EMPs were good, just the timing on them was off.
Yeah, I definitely think what you're mentioning right here is a huge factor on, losing this game for Hyperflex, is that the EMPs were great, the hacks were great. There were just no follow-ups. And the fact that you do have to understand Monarch is actually running a Reaper and Torbjorn right here. So RK2 is doing majority of the work when it comes to damage. And we're seeing Hyperflex characters like Lori, Blitz getting constantly, just smacked down by RQT. So I think the composition wise, changing to Diva, as you mentioned, would be a great asset, a great change, because the fact that yes, you could run a Zarya, but like we talked about, the bubble could only take 200 damage, and when you
Yeah.
have a Torbjorn that's just spamming you from across the map, and RQT who could just walk up to your face and just do 100 damage right away, you don't really want to run this Zarya right here. You're not going to get a lot of value. You're not going to be supercharged all the time, and your bubbles will be broken like as soon as you put them up. So I think a Diva choice would definitely be a great pick right here, because you can mitigate so much damage with that, defense matrix coming in here.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that was a huge difference there. Especially if you do run the Zarya, you have to be putting in the damage on the Reaper, and that just wasn't happening enough
Yeah.
for
What do
Hyperflex
you
there.
what do you think about if Gong does want to go with this, Sombra pick? What do you think? Who do you think would be the key person to really hack? I'm thinking of RQT, just because the way he has been playing
Yeah,
and the amount of pressure he's putting on.
yeah. I mean, taking away RQT's like get out of jail free card with the Wraithford in there, that could definitely be a huge play. But I think honestly, if they manage to take out, I don't know. I think if you do go in with these 5v6s, even if they do just kill like a support or a tank, I think that could be the difference there. Because RQT's pumping in the damage, but he's also not being focused. So I think once they hack maybe Merlin or Vespa King on the Diva, Diva's a great hack target. So that could have been something super easy, because that hero is absolutely useless with no abilities. So that could have been a great hack target. I think anyone on their team other than, I don't think the supports would have been fantastic hack targets, especially the Moira, just because you'd have to kill her on the spot there, and she was playing pretty far back. So I think if you hack anyone in the front line and you manage to pick them up, that could be the game changer here. And that's all about communication. That's all about Gong laying down the law and saying, guys, when I hack this person, we all need to kill them, and then wrap it up and go on to the next target. And that's that. That's how I think they win here.
Yeah, like you talked about, like once somebody gets hacked, the crosshairs need to be on their head. That's how the winning. That's really going to be the formula for Hyperflex to winning right here. And I think the fight, they put up a formidable fight, even though we haven't seen any point flips or anything like that for the last two games. Literally, control map in Nepal, they have not flipped the point a
Yeah.
single time. So it was literally 0 to 100 every single time. So I think that could be a change here, that we're going to Rialto. It's more of a payload map. So let's see which team has a better compositional or territorial defense, in a way where they're just moving along with the cart and just defending themselves as they go on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that the map choice here is also going to be very relevant. Rialto here, it's not really going to lend itself. as well to these Reaper compositions if Hyperflex decides that they maybe want to play something like double sniper. Something that could really be the difference here, I think, because that long sideline on point A, there's two long sidelines on point A, and I think that could really shut down someone like RQT if he does decide to do the Reaper, and if of course Hyperflex does have the players to play this double hit scan comp or just a Widow, something like that.
Yeah, and one of the things I've seen a lot of teams actually in in the advanced region for League Zero, a lot of the teams what they like to do is they set up a Widowmaker or a Ashe and play a Pharah in this plane, a defense Pharah. A defense Pharah is a pretty brilliant choice if you are a good Pharah player and you have the support from your healers, because there's just so much so much cover for you to just weave around and just do so much damage. And it's just like I think it's a Pharah Ashe or a Pharah Widow is a really good pick here, especially against the Reaper, where all he has to do is just stay in ground and just shoot people. Well, look at that Cryobite picking out the Genji, something a little bit different, but we do get the Widow from Gong, so there are some differences coming in as
Yeah,
you talked about.
and they are going to be on the attack here. That's very relevant as well. So we
Hmm.
gotta see. I mean, it looks like that. Oh, that's a very interesting comp. Do you want to talk about the comp from the Edinburgh Monarchs here on the defense?
Yeah, yeah. So this is what I like to call like kind of like the anchor comp. If you I don't know if you guys play. Oh, a little pause coming out from the spectators, but looks like we will be running back up soon. But other than that, I really want to talk about this. This is more of a anchor composition. I don't know if any of you were watching, which in this case none. Um, do play Rainbow Six Siege, where it's more so like you want to pick a composition that's super good at setting up in one place and defending that territory and just doing as much as damage possible. So now, if you're looking at a Mercy and a Baptiste pick is super comfortable. He's super comfortable in just holding one territory, a little bit of space. He's super good at doing that. So is Orisa from Best picking. So if you're looking at Orisa, Torbjorn, and Baptiste, they're literally just gonna sit at the back and just dish out as much as damage and
I
healing
mean,
possible.
as a main tank myself, I am shedding tears for Lori right now. He is not gonna enjoy
Oh,
what's
he's
about to
not
happen.
going to enjoy this. So
Look at
let's see
this
what.
though. Gong already in
Yeah.
the backline looking for a hack. I love this play. Let's see who's the hack target here. I don't even know. Lori taking the high ground here. Oh, this is really good control from the side of Hyperflex. They're taking so much point space for free.
Yeah, and they realize that the composition the enemy team is running, they have to hunker down at one space, so they're just taking the high ground and
Oh,
chasing
and
them. And ooh, look at that!
so early. Are they gonna get the res? Oh, they're gonna let it get off. Unbelievable. The res there, but Empty's turret does get taken out. It's going back up now. Pog is hacked in the back, and absolutely no one is on him. He has the gun out, but he does get taken out by Cryobite there. And this is gonna be a very easy win. Oh, but look at RQT. He's going in there. Presses Wraith for him. This is the exact time to dive him, but it doesn't look like they're doing it. Lori putting the damage on the front line, and Cryobite's in the back putting in the damage as well. But it looks like a stalemate right now on point. Oh, and there's the window. That could be the difference maker here. And
Yeah,
it looks like,
they're just hiding around. They're just hiding
Marley
around
gets
and
out. Oh, RQT
oh my
with the
god.
ultimate, and he picks up two and the Diva Mech. I cannot believe this. Flipping the fight single-handedly. RQT, what a play.
Yeah, and like you talked about, as a main tank, you're looking at Lori, right? If you're running this Winston composition against a Reaper, you need to be fast. You need to kill the team as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
You don't want to give Reaper the space or the time to build up his ultimate. He'll do exactly what he just did right now. Even with Blitz being on Diva, it's just a risky play to take. Now I think
I like the coalescence out here. They're gonna
Very-
dive the turret. Okay, sure. The turret gets taken out. The original. Oh, the shatter picks up Lori, but the stun or the hack is massive. Lori cracks the primal rage. Let's see if we can get out of here. Merlin is hacking. He does go down, and the Vulcan core plus the hack and the bomb. A million ults coming out. That's gonna be every single ult on the side of Hyperflex, and it looks like they're gonna take the point with it, unless RP did something magical here.
Yeah, I mean, they really wanted this point. They
Yeah.
just really wanted to get it. And nothing bad with using this ultimate, that many ultimate, because if you look at the side of Monarch right now, they don't also have a lot of ultimates coming up, just the support ultimates. So Hyperflex does have the time to build the ultimates up, and that's what they're doing. They're playing aggressively, but
Out,
Yeah, they're playing aggressively to get as much as ultimate charge possible. Now this will be a choke point fight they probably will not
Yeah,
win because of
I
the
like
support
Merlin
ultimate.
pushing up here. This is very good, and
Hmm.
the valve getting popped as well. The
Oh,
win.
nice
That's gonna be
disengage.
crap. Yep, Lori gets taken out, and I can't imagine Lori stays on the wins going into this point.
Yeah, I think it's best to just really swap him out. Oh, Blitz get burned down right
Oh,
away.
and choke. I can't. Oh no, that's yeah. This is
Ooh,
the comp. The spam damage is too high. The Baptiste putting out a surprising amount of damage here on the tanks. Yeah, and there it is. Blitz going for the reset.
resets.
Yep.
Yeah, so now they have to wait about like 15 seconds or so for Blitz to come back. But other than that, yeah, you're talking about this is hunker. This hunker comp has so much spam damage, and they could just sit in one place and do it. Now, the dive comp could work here, but you need a immaculate amount of team
Yeah,
effort to get
and the
get
hack
through
needs to
everything.
be the hack.
Exactly. If there could be a
Oh,
hack on
Gong has
RQT,
the EMP. The Molten Core coming out on cooldown here. Huge EMP, that's massive, and the Coalescence gets popped. What can they do with it? Lori goes down, and so does Gong.
oh no.
Raccoon gets taken out, but Cryo's going down, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Everybody just stepped on the molten core right here, burning themselves. I'm pretty sure it looks quite hot when you're looking at it from their perspective. But I guess they just wanted to get into the fight as soon as possible. And look at the ultimates again from Monarch. They have Diva Bomb coming up. They have RQT's Death Blossom and Dragoon's Window with Pog's Valkyrie. So
They cracked on the last fight.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't
how
know.
they're going to come back from this
They're
at
gonna
this
have to
point.
just dry push here. I think they need to bait out some ults, and that's the only thing I can think of because
Yeah, they do have 2 minutes, so that's a good amount of time on the
yeah,
clock.
they are taking the high ground here. I do like this play, but it looks like they're not able to do damage from up there, so they're gonna have to drop at some point. Lori going dangerously low before the fight even starts, and this is a very interesting strategy for Monarchs. They don't even need to contest the high ground right now.
Ooh, now
Oh,
this is the part.
point.
Yeah, this is the
But
point where
oh,
Monarch.
the bomb gets stuck. I can't believe this. And Cryobite. Oh, Cryobite. Wait, hold on a minute. Does pick up two. Picks up the supports. Lori cracks his primal, and there it is. Finally, it looks like the point is gonna go, or sorry, the fight is gonna go the side of Hyperflex. After
Finally, we're seeing some breath of fresh air coming in. But look at this again, though. I think the main difference between these two teams right here definitely the fact that Monarch has a better understanding of how to use their ultimate and
yeah.
keep their ultimate economy high.
And the window coming out. Can the bomb pick up anyone? No, it doesn't look like it, but it does get the space that they need. The window is going to come out here. Merlin swinging away on point. Absolutely unbothered by the entirety of their team. Look at the back. Cryo's completely in their team. He's on the blue team now. This is insane. And Dragoon gets taken out.
Ooh,
Cryo.
picking.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, these are very big picks. Oh no, empty!
Cryo and RQT picked up two, but gets taken
Oh
out.
my god.
This is unbelievable, but they do take the point. Lori's gonna get, yikes. I don't know about that one. Yep. That's a wrap for Lori.
He was quite optimistic.
Well, they're cracking the coalescence down 3 people. All right. It looks like they're not gonna get too much out of it, and they're gonna back up at this point. Gong is gonna get taken out here, I imagine. And look at it, it's just a oh, but Gong picks up the ult. Let's see what he can get out of it. Picks up Pog. Can he get anything else? It
Oh,
doesn't look
Bob.
like RQT's 1v1ing him in the back. But Cryo gets taken out. And this is an incredibly messy fight, Sai.
Oh, this is so messy, but one team has to come out on top, and
Yeah.
that is definitely Flux
So,
right here.
That could be a huge game changer right now. If Dragoon goes down, which he does. But the bomb, again, look at this. Just ults coming out after ult. The double bombs and Cryo going down. That could switch the fight up. Merlin hits a massive charge on the Blitz, and I think that could be the fight here. If Gong gets taken out, look at this shatter. Massive, and that's going to be a wrap. Hyperflex
Oh,
locked on the second point.
this is just so sad to see. I mean, definitely a valiant effort from both teams, especially Hyperflex, but oh, it's just so hard to see this because Cryobite was actually holding on to this ultimate for 2 fights straight.
Yeah.
He died twice with that ultimate, and it's just so unfortunate. First of all he died to RQT, and then he died to the bomb at the very end. If he could get that ultimate off, especially the background, the backline, that fight could have went like totally the way of Hyperflex. But it's just so sad to see, and I really have to give credit to Empty. This man has been a menace on this Torbjorn right now, getting a hammer kill
That
on
was so
Cryobite. That just threw me off. I was like, wow! Out of all that messiness, you got a hammer kill on, what do you call it? The opposing
yeah,
Reaper. How do you
it was
even do
a
that?
fight too. It wasn't like
Yeah, it wasn't like a one v
clean up
one or
kill.
anything. Just pulls
That's
out the hammer, was like
unbelievable.
bink.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm really curious to see what Hyperflex does on defense here.
Yeah, and looks like they're going with again Blitz being on the Zarya. Now,
Yeah,
I really don't think this is a very good idea,
I
especially
agree.
the fact that you have seen the Zarya pick not really working out towards you for the control points. But look at it now. You have Empty who's just going to spam out damage. His, you need to reach his turret somehow. His turret will be at the back, and it's just gonna shoot your shield with RQT. That's a lot of damage. I don't think, I really think again, I sound like a broken record, but Zarya is not the pick to go in here.
Yeah, it's just a comp difference at this point. I mean, you can tell that Monarchs are incredibly comfortable with this composition that they're running, and I mean, you're running the same thing that you've been losing for multiple rounds is not going to be the strategy on the side of Hyperflex, and I think they do need to realize that and just swap it up here. But they are
Yeah,
holding
definitely
the
swap
corner.
it up.
Lori does get taken down early. That's a huge, huge pick for Monarchs. Merlin takes out B Shern, and I think that's going to be a wrap. Yeah,
Yeah,
Merlin.
that's just a cleanup right there because I don't know. I think Hyperflex definitely needs more damage. Like, yeah, this Sombra pick is pretty
Oh, the
good.
shatter! Look at that aggressive shatter. Doesn't pick anyone up, but Lori does go down. And look at the
Yeah,
pull.
this is
It's flipped immediately here. Oh,
yeah,
it
and
does
it's
get
just
pressed by the Moira.
look at the dominance from
Yeah.
Monarch right now. Like they just know their limits.
Empty picking up
And
a okay there at the end. And it's just, they haven't even had a fight. There's been.
no, they didn't. Is every time they're just getting picked, and every time you get picked, is just Monarch pushing. And look at this. We are barely in a minute, and they're already approaching their goal for
Yeah.
winning the game.
I mean, and Hyperflex isn't even set up yet. They're still waiting on their Lucy, who finally gets back, and they can finally take this fight, hopefully with the EMP. But they're
Oh,
gonna
look
need
at
help
RQT.
early. And yeah, RQT, he's literally can go freely into the backline. The EMP is massive here. What can they get out of it? Both coalescence is going out, and the molten core. It looks like he didn't get hacked. Oh no, Cryo fades into it, and he's gonna get picked up there. The fight. Oh, look at that shot!
Oh, huge!
It's huge. Mori picks up two, but RQT with the Death Blossom, does he manage to clean it up? It doesn't look like it. Bob's with the beat, and that's going to close out the fight. Thankfully, finally a fight going the side of Hyperflex here.
Yeah,
On
that
the
beat
back
was
of Lori.
definitely a clutch, but so many ultimates being drawn out. But if you are Hyperflex right now, you are happy about this because you also drew out some ultimates from the opposing side. So look at this, just Reinhardt
Oh,
shaking it.
that's the king. Can
Oh
he pick
no.
anyone up? No. The charge is not going to connect. Look at the aggression onto Lori. He gets taken out so early in the fight there. And Cryo's in the back. RQ for Cryo breaking out the ult. Oh, and he interrupts the sound beat. The sound barrier gets interrupted. That's huge. Cryo by putting the team on his back right now. Let's see what else he can manage to get here. But the coalescence for Pog is going to be tough. Empty gets taken out though. And RQT and Pog each picking up one. I can't imagine this goes to the side of Hyperflex.
No, since Crybot is down from Hyperflex, that's a
Damage.
lot of damage
Yeah.
lost. And
And I mean,
a lot of desperation coming out.
I don't know. It's looking rough.
Yeah, it's definitely looking rough right now. Bob's doing his best to just distract and buy as much as time possible, but I don't think that's going to really matter. Crybot is
RQT breaking out the
yeah,
ult 2K, and that's going to be the second point going the side of the Edinburgh Monarchs once again.
yeah. That was really one-sided. I think we could call it a day on that one. Unless we're streaming. Are we streaming?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Do you want to
Okay.
do?
Up to you.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, so yeah, we could still keep going casting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem.
I'm good to do that. And I mean, I think So back into the action, I think that it's the team synergy on the side of the Monarchs has been incredibly impressive. Especially out of a gold team. For me, I'm shocked at how well they're keeping up their Reinhardt and how aggressive they can be into a Sombra Reaper composition. They're not playing into like a dive comp, they're not playing into these low damage compositions. They're playing into an incredibly disruptive, incredibly high damage composition, and they're still taking these aggressive fights with the Lucio Reinhardt, and they're winning them somehow. I'm not. The target focus must be insane out of their main tank here because they're just putting in the damage onto Lori every single fight and taking him out.
I mean, if I'm being honest, Empties definitely has to be the mascot of this team. He's representing all the gold players out there, bringing out the Torbjorn, the classic pick. But I really do think the Torbjorn is actually a crucial part of this team composition because there's just so much spam damage that they have to worry about because Empty could just literally put a turret all the way at the back of the map, right? Walk up and just spam his second, his right click into the shield, and I think that's what really happening. If you're seeing this game from Lori's perspective, who's a Reinhardt who has to keep his shield up, you have a Torbjorn turret shooting at you, a Torbjorn gun shooting at you, and RQT, who's a Reaper, just
Yeah,
blowing your your shield to pieces. So how do you manage that? Lori simply can't just keep his shield up. It's just so hard for him. And Blitz, especially playing Zarya, it does not help because if you're at least playing Diva, you can mitigate a lot of that damage before it hits the shield
exactly.
by using your defense matrix. But when you're on Zarya, yeah, you could bubble Lori, but it doesn't really help him because his shield needs to recharge. It's just getting pounded by all these DPS players, and that just really allows Merlin to take all the space he can. Because when he sees Lori on the back foot, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Reinhardt. I'm just going to swing my hammer." Since the other Reinhardt has to keep his shield up, and his healers are too busy healing him. So it's just like that's where I think all the focus comes down to, where Lori just has too much damage on his hand and he cannot deal with it.
Absolutely. And you need to and again, like you said with the Diva versus the Zarya, with the Zarya comp, the only advantage is an aggressive one. The Zarya does not provide the utility that you need on the defense to back out and reposition the way that a Diva does. So if you are playing the Zarya comp, you need to be pumping in way more resources into Lori. Like this is the whole point of a Zarya is to bubble your Reinhardt, get a bunch of charge, and then get aggressive with your Reinhardt. And the whole team needs to be on board there, but we see these fights constantly devolving into a very very messy fight with multiple 1v1s going down, and I think that Monarchs have the team play to get around that. So you see someone like Cryo going into the backline, but he's just not getting the value that RQT is getting into the backline because Vespa King on the Diva is able to peel for his supports in a way that Blitz just can't do on the Zarya, and that's been a huge difference here, I think.
Yeah, and usually if you're running a Zarya Ryan composition, right, the main thing you want to do or focus on is that every time your Reinhardt wants to throw out a fire strike, you bubble the Reinhardt. So when his shield is down, he throws a fire strike, gets hit by the enemy damage, and as a Zarya, you retract all that damage into your own by every time Zarya's bubble gets hit, she gets more charge. The thing is that it's just too much damage. The bubble is
Yeah,
getting popped right away. And what's really confusing me, right, is that you did mention how Blitz does like to play a lot of Sigma. I don't know why that hasn't been the pick right here because Sigma does provide a similar utility as we're talking about,
with the
Diva
Diva,
right here.
absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're not comfortable in playing Diva as Blitz, right? If you're talking about Blitz and he's not comfortable picking Diva, why not go back to the Sigma pick? Because Sigma actually does a lot of damage. Sigma also has a second shield that could help Lori, in absorbing a lot of damage that's coming out from Monarch. Also, Sigma has a void field, which is kind of like a Diva's defense matrix. It eats up all the projectiles. So I think Sigma would not actually be a pretty good pick right now. I think Sigma would be a pretty good pick right now. Not a bad choice if you're hyperflexing, you're at the back foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that especially against a Reaper like RQT, a Sigma could be incredibly effective because these Blossoms have been game changing every time. So I think that something like Sigma just holding your shift for it, walking in front of him, and letting your team take him out while Lori holds down the front line with a Reinhardt. That could be a compositional switch that we need. But honestly, Sai, to be honest with you, regardless of what the compositional switch is, something needs to happen. You cannot keep running this Sombra Reaper Moira Lucio comp. Like it's just not
No,
it's not working for you. You've
no,
been
it's not
crushed
working
in
at all.
2 maps.
Yeah,
You gotta
I
switch up.
think I definitely think that let's say if Gong switches over from Sombra to more of a Ash pick, I think that would definitely benefit them because Ash just deals so much damage from a safe distance, especially with the dynamite. She could build her ultimate super fast, and having Ash's ultimate, which is Bob, in the fight, it's just a man advantage right away.
Yeah,
You're in a 7v6, you know. So I think Ash is a really good choice, and I still think Sigma could be a very good choice here because if you're thinking about it, right? Sigma has his rock that he could throw out for a long range stun, and I think that is what you need against RQT because all he's doing, he realized that the enemy team has no form of stuns whatsoever, so he just runs in there, does damage, and just fades out. So if
yeah,
you could catch him lacking while he's going in with that rock, you could easily burst him down and kill him as soon as possible. And it also helps when he's using his ultimate. He's using his
absolutely.
ultimate, just throw the rock in there, stun him. So I think
Oh, wait, look
those
at
two
this
changes
comp.
are
What do you think
really
about this?
crucial.
This could
Hmm.
be an interesting change. I mean, we said they needed changes. That is what they're doing with the
Huh.
TP strategy, maybe.
That's definitely interesting, but there you go. They're probably just gonna TP and then swap back to Sombra again. Oh no, they're actually sticking to
No,
it.
it looks like they're in a TP point
Interesting.
here.
Huh.
It could work. There it is. Oh, they TP high ground. I love this strategy. This is a rehearsed strategy. Lori, you need to recharge your shield. Wait,
Yeah,
Lori is
like
by himself? What, is he gonna get taken out here? He gets aggressed on so much. And Lori and Bishan going down. That's, once again,
look at that. Look at that. I literally
communication.
I spoke this in into existence. Literally, I talked about how much damage Lori is taking, and I just want to point this out. By the time Lori went to the choke point, his shield was already cracked.
Yeah,
Literally.
exactly.
By the time he went to the choke point, his shield cracked. So how do you avoid that? You really
Yeah,
have to, you really have to avoid this by, like I said,
they
some of
had to
the
take it
stuff we
slow there.
yeah, they definitely had
They
to take
went
it
in
slow.
too hard with just two of them, and that was a wrap on the fight. I don't know.
I'm still trying to gather my thoughts on why play this Zarya into this composition.
Yeah, they do have the soldier now, so it's gonna be a little bit more shield break. Okay, let's see. They aggress. I love this. But the massive shatter. Look at the 5-man coming
My
out from
God.
Merlin. That's unbelievable. What a play from Merlin. The res coming out. That's it. I have nothing else to say. That's it.
No, there's nothing to say, Yoshi. We're spectating here, and obviously we have the knowledge that Marlin had ultimate right there. But if you're the opposing team, you don't have that knowledge. It's super hard to track a
Yeah.
Reinhardt who builds his ultimate by the first fight. Like literally, he built it within like the first fight. And now look at this, Soldier's Gong just doing as much as damage possible. And what do they do here? What do you do if you're Flex right here?
I mean, I just think this comp isn't it. We saw the aggression coming out. It was good aggression. I like the play. Maybe try doing that again. Oh, that's huge. Look at the shatter.
Huge.
Oh my God, Lori putting the team on his back. They can't pick up. Oh, they do pick up Merlin actually, but the res. Paul gets away with the res. And look at this. The ult from R2T picks up 3. That's it. The fight goes the way of Edinburgh once again. After such a good start.
Yeah, they have the aggression there. I like the aggression coming in from them, but they're not taking a lot of factors into consideration. Like the shadow was beautiful, but no one focused on the lantern from Baptiste until the very end. So when
Exactly.
when Lori pinned Marlin against the wall, he did not die because he was immune to it.
Yeah, and I mean again, once again the ult advantage, just the ult's being used to much more effect. The window takes out Lori and Vishern within a second, and that stifles the fight. And Almighty Gong goes down for what?
That was so fast.
Okay.
That was so fast.
Yeah, I think it's just mental at this point.
Yeah,
I think
and
that Edinburgh have complete control over this game.
yeah, they definitely do, and it's not to be biased or one-sided, but if you're looking at the entire matchup right now, Edinburgh, they're just really good at ult management. They're just winning fights by using only
Absolutely.
one or two ults. They're really, conservative with the ultimate, but look at that. We do have some ultimates coming out from side of Flex, Hyperflex. So this might be a turnaround.
Yeah.
Cryobite does have his, Dead Blossom, so you definitely want to keep an eye out for that.
Could be huge, and I love this aggression coming out from Empty. Oh no, Lori Shatter gets interrupted. Cryobite tries to go into the backline for an ultimate, and it just doesn't work out. And Empty's aggression, as you were saying before we started this game, it's putting in so much work.
Yeah, and this man Empty just seems to have his ultimate ready every single fight. So especially in Hanamura and this choke point, how do you go past a pool of lava?
Look at that Shatter. It's a two-man. RQT is gonna clean it up.
God.
That's it. But the Shatter Cryobite gets taken out within a second of his
That
ultimate.
is disgusting. Like, oh my. I don't know if you noticed that right there, Yoshi. The Shatter came out, and then Baspa King just pulled them all together with his little pull from Orissa's right click, and Marilyn just fire strike through everyone. That's literally it.
That's exactly what you need to do. It's just the team synergy. It's great. It's great.
The synergy is really good from the side of Monarch right now, but I think if you're Hyperflex, you definitely need to brush up on a lot of things here. Alt management is one of them. Alt usage is one of them. And I think another thing is not being as stubborn towards your composition. Now, if as funny it might sound, Overwatch is actually, built around the fact that you will need to adapt on the fly. That's why you could change your hero. That's why you could change your hero in mid game. That's probably probably one of the only games I've played so far competitive that lets you do that. And that's a huge feature because you need to adapt to your enemies and the surrounding and just kind of play around it. But look like there are some changes coming out.
But it's so late. It's so late. It's winnable here. Not winnable, sorry, but drawable. But the series is winnable.
The series is definitely winnable
if they draw this map.
That's a very steep climb.
They're going to need to put up an insane defense right now.
This has to be the best defense I've ever seen. Like, this literally is that important. But I do like the changes. We talked about the Ashe. The Ashe came out, and I talked about the Blitz. The Blitz came out. So I'm happy
the Sigma from Blitz. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Sigma from Blitz. And look at that.
But look at the teleporter comp, and they're gonna TP onto the right. This is a very interesting strategy. Going for the brawl close up. Let's see what happens. Lori hits a massive charge on the RQT. That's a huge pick, and Empty gets taken out. That's gonna stifle the push without a doubt here.
Yeah, and you see, this is literally what I talked about before the game even started. Because of the Ashe and how much damage output there is, and since the opposing team is Vaspa King is running a Zarya, they just have no counterplay. Like, literally no counterplay.
Yeah.
So look at the ultimate charges. Lori is 72, Cryobite is 40, and Bob's is 45. This is really good stuff. So I like this defense that we're seeing, and I'm hoping Vaspa King switches off from this Zarya to the D.Va.
TP once again.
They really. I mean, if you
have time to work
you are
with.
confident. Yeah, you're confident right now. You
Look
have
at
time.
Almighty in the back right now. Is he gonna try to get the teleporter? It doesn't look like it. Oh, he does go for the teleporter. Breaks it a little bit too late. Doesn't even break actually. And he is gonna TP into them, but not getting the value. Oh, Crab gets taken out early. But Empty does go down. Look at this though. Vesper King picks up Almighty Gong, and it's looking very dangerous here.
No way!
Lori goes off with Merlin. Oh no, Lori. The spacing just didn't work out, and Blitz gets taken out. And Sai, I think that's the series.
Oh, I definitely think so too. But look at that, Bob getting a final touch.
Late pick, and there it is. Edinburgh Monarchs. 3-0.
Wow, and this went. And this went more so in favor of Edinburgh Monarch than last week, because it was a game 5 last week where Edinburgh Monarch, actually won 3-2, and now they just won 3-0. But look at that amazing ultimate coming out for RQT, getting a 4K eventually, and it's just like, how do you have to care about this man? Like, you have to shut him down somehow. And we loved the picks that came out, the changes that came out from Blitz and the side of off tank and damage that we were talking about, but it was just too late. Like you talked about, like the Sigma pick should have been much earlier, and that Ashe pick should have been much earlier, because there's just so much damage they needed to deal with.
Absolutely, and it wasn't even a bad defense from them. Like it was actually
No.
it was good there. There was some like missed timings with the Reaper going into the backline and trying to get damage onto the teleporter. It just didn't work out for them. But overall, the theory was actually like good. Like I think that that was the first time in the series that we've seen them that we saw Hyperflex actually outmatch um, Edinburgh Monarchs comp wise. They just had a better comp. They did end up losing it, but I do think that their composition was superior there.
Yeah, I definitely think if the changes came out earlier, that would have been a good, a good change, a good setup. But it was just late. But I do hope that Hyperflex learns from this experience and moving forward, instead of being more stubborn towards the meta picks that you see in Overwatch League or whatnot, play to their
Yeah,
what they're comfortable more comfortable on. If you're comfortable on something, this guy MT definitely is comfortable in that, Torbjorn, and he made it work a lot. He
and
made
it
a
looks like
lot.
we are gonna get an interview with MT actually
Ooh,
right
that
now. Yeah,
sounds
if you have
even
anything
great.
you wanna, there he is.
Hey there. Hey there.
There you go. The man, the myth, the hour himself is here. Now, MT, first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, what brings the Torbjorn in? Why
Uh,
the Torbjorn?
there's a funny story there. 35 seconds before Nepal, our coach Greek said, "All right, empty. You're gonna play Torbjorn instead of Sombra," and we just went from there, and it worked. So we rolled 3 maps.
Wow.
It was,
Yeah, that was amazing. That
it
was
was
we were
a
honestly shocked to see it. We were like, okay, the Sombra comp's definitely gonna pick it up here. It's just a better comp here. But you were just putting in the damage consistently. That was very impressive Torbjorn play.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm the best Torbjorn in the division.
Ooh, those
Ooh,
are
that's some
fighting words if
shade.
I've ever seen them. I know for a
Yeah.
fact you're gonna have some Torbjorn mirror matches just based on that comment now. But something I want to know is something I really liked about your play is that it seemed like as soon as you got your ultimate, you were using it on cooldown, and it was used to great effect every time. How did you find those positions to use it with such effectiveness?
Uh, I kind of just sprayed it where I thought they were gonna go, and it just kind of worked. They just kind of
Fair
walked
enough.
into it multiple times.
Sometimes that's all you need to do.
It's just big braining
Yeah,
it, man.
Yeah,
there you
Giga
go.
Brain moves right there. Throw it where they need to walk through. And they have to go through there. And last question, MT, I definitely have to, ask you before we go. First of all, congrats on this win. I think this win was definitely a stamp on the ground on the tournament that you guys had basically a 5 game series last week, and now you just go 3-0 straight up. So I think that shows improvement coming out from the team. But other than that, are you expecting to join our All Star games from League Zero on that Torbjorn Hammer 1v1?
I did not know that was a thing,
We could
but
make it a thing. We could make it
I
a
would
thing.
definitely join, and I would definitely win. I would
Ooh,
definitely win.
that's some very, I'm pretty sure Acronator and Zero are listening to this, but hey, if you're listening, we have to make this work, guys, because the hammer kill on that,
That
cryo
was
Oh
had
unbelievable.
yeah,
that was
That
like
was unbelievable.
that
yeah.
had me up my seat. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was very very impressive game. Good work, MT, and the rest of the squad, and good luck in your next rounds going into this
Yes.
tournament.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, Yoshi, what a match. Definitely a one-sided match coming out. And I think for both teams, this is a learning experience like you talked about, especially for Hyperflex. If they're watching this game, going through the VODs or even watching us cast through it, I think there's a lot to be learned from this experience. And I think this was a great match. Even though it was one-sided, it was super fun to watch. Something out of the ordinary. You'd see like the Torbjorn and not just your usual boring Sombra, Sombra Reaper composition. So I had so much fun casting this. I don't know about you.
Absolutely, I really enjoyed it. I think that there was a lot. I think especially on the last map, that was a very very enjoyable game to watch. I loved seeing the changes come out finally from Hyperflex, and I think that that does show that they learned something like even within the game, which I think is honestly really really impressive, especially at this level, to swap up your composition so drastically and still do well. So I think that that really shows that might teach Hyperflex that hey, we can do it. We can change off of what we're comfortable with if it's not working. And I hope that that's something that they take into account in their next games. And I hope they apply it earlier in the match. And I think that if they do, they'll really manage to pick up their game here.
Yeah, and definitely think so. And now for everyone who's watching, you definitely stick around for our advanced expert games coming out.
Don't stick around but watch the video that will
Yeah,
also be
but
posted.
definitely watch the VOD for our expert games that will be actually live. So yeah, I think it was great pleasure casting with you, Yoshi. I had a fun time, and these two this was a really nice match. But now we would have to let you go. Thank you for everybody for joining us, even for watching the VOD, and see you next time.